Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm doing my June book haul. So I got quite a few things, some very exciting special things that I will get to at the end of the video. But first, let's just dive into some of the other books. So first up, I got 2 books on Vine. For those not in the know, Vine is like this Amazon program that you're invited to by them. If you write loads of reviews, you get to get stuff for free and write a review for it. So I picked up 2 books on there. First of all, I got Only on the Weekends by Dean Atter, who was the author that wrote The Black Flamingo. This is really chunky, but it's also another book written in verse. So it looks chunky, but it's not really that chunky. This one is about a 15-year-old boy who knows he's gay. He likes this one guy and then they get together, but then he has to move over to Scotland for a little while with his dad, and there's another boy there who he also likes, so it's kind of like, do I still like this guy? Do I like this new guy? It's very that. I read it in June, so you'll hear my thoughts very soon. That rhymed accidentally. June, soon. Anyway, the other book that I got off Vine was this one, A Flash of Fireflies by Aisha Bushby. Now, I've been trying to be good with these because last year, if you were here, you know that I was just grabbing all the books off Vine, whether they sounded interesting or not. This year, I'm like, chill out. If the book sounds interesting or you know you want to read it, then get it, but if not, calm the fuck down. Obviously with that book, I really enjoyed Dean Atter's other book. With this one, I was looking at it, I thought it looks kind of good. It's a middle grade, it's mystical and fantastical, it's very short, so it's going to be easy to read. But I was a bit like, should I get it? But then I looked on Goodreads and apparently this has OCD rep, which I think is going to be very interesting to read in this middle grade book. So that's why I snapped it up, and I definitely need to get this one read and reviewed. So yes, it's about a girl who moves to England, and then there's these fireflies that were her friends, it says, but then she gives them the more hungry they get, which is I'm guessing is going to be the sort of OCD is going to be shown through there in a certain sort of way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a read and seeing what it's like. Next up, I've got 3 books that I bought because I had a voucher, but you had to spend a certain amount to use the voucher, so I was like, okay, that's an excuse to buy books. So first up, I have Gay Club by Simon James Green. This is Simon James Green's most recent release. I love his work. If you've been here, you know I'm a massive fan of Simon James Green, so obviously I wanted to pick this one up and read it and enjoy it and love it because I love all of his other books. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it, the title? It's about a gay club. Do I need to say more? It's probably going to be funny, it's probably going to have secondhand embarrassment, it's probably going to be great, it's going to be very English, it's going to be very Simon James Green, so I'm very much looking forward to giving this one a read. I also picked up Lightfall Volume 2, Shadow of the Bird by Tim Probert. I adored Volume 1 last year. I have already read this, I'll talk about it in my wrap up. It's this great series, the artwork is absolutely stunning. Let me just find a page. I mean, just look how adorable everything on this page is. Look at it. So yeah, this is a fantasy series about a girl whose grandfather goes missing. Well, he's gone off to do something, but he's also very forgetful, so they're like, is he going to remember? And she goes on this adventure with this other guy, and it's really good. And stuff happens in this one that I will talk about in my wrap up. And then last of those 3 books I picked up is All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This one just seems really interesting. It gives me sort of vibes as Wranglestone, whereas this is zombies. This one just says a catastrophic event wipes out loads of people, so I don't know what that event is, but it gives me the vibes because it's like a big catastrophic event, people dying, crazy stuff happening, but also gay romance at the same time, which I very much enjoyed Wranglestone. I thought it was really interesting to put that into this other different thing happening rather than just a normal contemporary, so I feel like this is going to be a fun time as well. So it's about 2 characters. I believe it's also dual perspective, so that's going to be interesting. And you know, don't trust all the other survivors, they're probably doing bad stuff, they probably want to get all the stuff, keep all of the things, because everyone's fighting and vying for everything. And then these 2 characters meet and stuff. I don't know, I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. These next 2 things I picked up secondhand. So first up, I have The Kon-Tiki Man by Christopher Rowling. This is about Torherdal. I got this in Lincoln because me and some of the fam went to do one of the escape rooms, which are very fun. and I saw this, I had to pick it up. I was literally wearing my Thor Heyerdahl t-shirt at the time. It was Fate. If you don't know, because it's been a while since I talked about Thor Heyerdahl, I'm very much like hyping all the polar stuff recently, but Thor Heyerdahl is also Norwegian, and he built a raft out of balsa wood to go across the water to prove that people could migrate from one country to the other back in the day. And he's just really cool and did all the exploring and stuff and making these boats. He made several other boats afterwards out of other material to prove that people could migrate and go to different places. Very, very enjoyable. And this says it's the book of the major TV series, which I didn't know existed, so I'll probably have to hunt that out. Because it's this guy, Christopher Rowling, actually going with Thor Heyerdahl to all the different places. And probably him talking about what went on there, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. So yes, glad I found this one randomly in a charity shop. And then the other second-hand one is a bit of a chunk, and it is this. So it's South with Endurance, Shackleton's Antarctic Expedition 1914 to 1917, very long title. The photographs of Frank Hurley. So that pretty much gives you all the necessary information. This is a big coffee table book. It's got a bunch of photos by Frank Hurley, who, side note, was also the guy that wrote the book Endurance and Shackleton's boat journey. And yeah, it's going to be really good. I like photographs, I like polar stuff, I enjoy Frank Hurley's writing, and it's going to be great. I've already had a flick through this, obviously. I've looked through every single page, not just a flick. So I'm very much looking forward to looking through this properly and reading it all as well. There are big pictures, also writing in here, of course. Let me just flick some random pages. Oh, that just did not work at all, did it? Here's another page. Some cool photos. Some more cool photos. At the end, there's a few pictures in colour. He had like one colour reel or something, so he didn't take many in colour, but there are a few in the back, which is really cool. So it shows what they actually look like in colour rather than just black and white. And yeah, you guys know me, you know that this is what I'm about, so very much excited about this. Side note, at some point this month I'm going to do sort of a shelf reorganisation video, hopefully you care, just to fit in my polar books, because I have quite a few that are chunky like this, so I need to put them on a different shelf that's taller. So yeah, hopefully you look forward to that. And before I talk about the last books, the most exciting books for me, let's just nip on over to a message from one of the spons, and then I shall be back with the last few books.
I do need to get this one reconnect. And then after that one, I need to open my lesson, which is
So we are here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory first. So a few weeks ago, obviously in June, because I picked this up in June, I was looking on eBay just randomly for no reason. I just was typing different words in because I always only buy art supplies or books off eBay. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to put random words in and see what people sell on there, because it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Just to pass the time, because that's the sort of person I am. Procrastination is my middle name. Ironically, I'm about to show you some books I bought off that, when the whole reason was me putting in words, because what do people sell that are not books? But anyway, I was putting words in. I put in maritime because, you know, I'm a big fan of the boats and the stuff like that. And some cool stuff came up. And one of the cool things that came up was Furthest North by Fridtjof Nansen, who was a Norwegian explorer who went the furthest north. Not anymore, it's been beaten since, but in 1890s, and his book came up and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought of like looking at actual old school books. So I just typed in Fridtjof Nansen and loads of stuff came up. And then for like several weeks I went through this thing of like watching on loads of different versions of Nansen's books, like old school versions of the books, because I've never been a book collector. I own loads of books, but I've never cared about collecting. I don't care about different editions. I'm not like, oh, get all the editions. But for some reason, as soon as I saw all this, I was like, oh my god, I need a version of that book, old school version. So I had all these different books in my watch list, and the good thing about eBay now is that the person that's selling them can send you like, oh, if you buy it now I'll give you 20% discount or whatever. So there was a bunch of them in there. Some of them were a bit worse for wear, a bit tatty, because this is a book that's like over 100 years old, over 120 years old. So some of them were at Tatty, and then there was this one set, because this book is in two volumes, and it was on there, I think it was about £150, and then the seller gave me an offer which was about 120, and then I was like, so the P&P was £9 something, so my offer, counter offer, was like 90 whatever to make it up to a solid £100, and they accepted. So I did spend £100 on these, but I got first edition versions of Fridtjof Nansen's Furthest North that came out in 1897, and I'm so excited about this. I mean, look at these. This, look at it, look at it. First editions. This is the first edition, and it's in such great quality and condition, and loads of the other versions had in the description like, oh, I think it's meant to have a map in the back of one, but that's missing. These both have 2 maps in the back of both of them. Like, everything is here. It has coloured plates in it. I will show you like some top-down versions while I'm chatting here, because I can't open it while I'm holding it like this because they're freaking old and freaking fancy, and I love them so much. I'm so excited about this. I flicked through both of the books like from start to finish, even though most of it's just words, but there are loads of photographs in here. There are, like I say, there are quite a few coloured plates. In the second edition that came out in 1898, there's only 1 coloured plate, and I'm just so excited about these guys, honestly. I'm sure nobody cares, but I do. They're so good. And oh my god, it just goes to show how much effort and time were put into books back then, because each one of the coloured plates and each one of the full page images in here, photographs, illustrations, whatever, were glued into the page. I will show you on the top down that all of the pages were made and then they were just glued in. Like, how much time would that have taken to go through every copy of this book and glue in the pictures one by one? And I'm just so excited. And like I say, there's maps in the back of both of these. They're just fully all here. Everything's here. It's perfect. And I'm so happy. And I'm also kind of want to buy a version of the second edition as well, because it has really cool covers. But for now, I'm just so excited about these books. I feel like literally no one will care about this, but I do, and it's very good and very interesting and very fun, and I can't wait to properly read these. So I do actually have one more book, and it's also a really old one. It's called The Windsor Magazine. For some reason on the sides it says volume 3, but inside it says volume 8. But either way, this is also a book from the 1890s. So this one was 1898, if I remember correctly. Let me just flick to the page. Yeah, 1898. So The Windsor Magazine went for a long time, and it is a monthly magazine that after the 6 months it ended up in a volume like this with like really cool edges. I mean, look at this. This is just a bind up of a magazine. Imagine that. But anyway, when I was looking for Fridtjof Nansen stuff, this came up and it was something absolutely impossible. Like, it was a £5 for a book that's over 120 years old that looks like this. And on the description it had Fridtjof Nansen in there, so I thought, you know what, it's a random thing, it'll be cool to flick through. It's probably an article, it's probably a few paged article about Fridtjof Nansen, but it's a £5, I might as well pick it up. I got it, I flicked through. I've also flicked through every single page of this. First of all, it's really cool. Again, I'll show you some top-down views of it. There's photographs, there's poetry, there's a bunch of stories in here. So because it was 6 months bind up, it's cool because the stories will start and then it'll be like the first volume of the magazine has 30 pages in, and then you flick through, and when it gets to the second volume the story continues. So throughout these 6 volumes in here there are several quite long stories that go through each section of it. But as I was flicking through, right at the beginning, one of the first things in here, there is an account by Hjalmar Johansen, which was the other guy that went on the expedition. The Fram went on the expedition, and then it was just Nansen and Johansen that went on the sled. And there's like a full account of his side of the story, which is amazing. It's like a fully, it's going to be like a couple of 100 pages maybe, of his account and I didn't even know it existed. I don't even know if it exists anywhere other than in this random magazine. And I just bought it. I thought, oh, it's probably just going to be an article about Fridtjof Nansen. No, it's literally the account of the one other person that went on this sledge trip, and I'm so excited to read it. There's also just loads of really cool things in here, and it's going to just show me what the times were like reading it. There's like joke pages at the end of each volume in here, the editor's choice, where there's little jokes or little funny things. And it's just funny to read because it's not funny, and I'm like, this was the humour then, and it's so random. But yeah, I'm really happy about this purchase as well. Like I said, it was about a £5, which is absolutely mind-boggling, but I'm happy I have it, and it was an amazing surprise to see that it has a full massive story in here rather than just a couple of pages about Nansen. Very excited, very happy, and that is the end of my haul. I don't know if you cared about them last 3 books, but I very much do. I think it's just so much fun that I have these, and I feel like a proper book collector now. I have books that are old and first edition, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, let me know down below what you picked up in June, if you've read any of these books. Probably the first half of the video you might have read some of them. Let me know down below. Let me know if you find my books interesting, or if you're like, Kaz, I don't care, you keep talking about this polar stuff, shut up. I'm not going to, but you can say that if you want. But yeah, let me know all that down below. And if this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy and please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I will see you in a few days with another video.